speed for just $6. Join Checkers Rewards for a free Buford or Mother Cruncher.
All the tools, the latest technology, and the largest team of 5 meteorologists. News 12 First Alert Weather on your side.
Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 First at 5.
It is Nurses Week, and we're recognizing the healthcare professionals who've been on the front line of this pandemic. For one man in Florida, becoming a nurse holds a very special significance.
But first, a law that allows employers to pay people with disabilities less than the federal minimum wage could soon be taken off the books in South Carolina. Legislation to abolish the sub-minimum wage has now passed both chambers of the State House. Our State House reporter Mary Green explains how common that is in the state.
The U.S. Department of Labor reports that right before the pandemic began, nearly 3,000 people with disabilities in South Carolina were being paid below the federal minimum wage. The department says that number has dropped since the pandemic started to about 1,000 people right now, but soon it could be 0.
As one of the largest minority groups in the whole entire country, we should no longer see people with disabilities as less than. We are citizens just like everybody else, and we deserve to be paid equally among our peers without disabilities.
This joint resolution would change state law so that no individual with a disability may be paid less than the federal minimum wage. Right now, employers with a government-issued waiver can do that for workers with disabilities, defined as those whose earnings or productive capacity is impaired by age, physical or mental deficiency, or injury. This legislation would create a task force to develop a plan to phase out the sub-minimum wage while still ensuring employment opportunities for people with disabilities. If it's signed into law, sub-minimum wages would no longer be legal in about 2 years, starting August 1st, 2024.
South Carolina has some lack of services for people with disabilities as well, and so this will give us enough time to plan what's next. How can we build skills? How can we engage in meaningful activities that really respects the rights of people with disabilities?
This resolution passed the state Senate last year, and it just recently passed the House of Representatives. Senators can next agree to those changes, make changes of their own in turn, or work out a compromise with House members to send over to the governor. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
14 employers across South Carolina do hold a waiver that allows them to pay wages below the federal minimum, and some of those employers say this allows them to employ people with severe disabilities who might not be able to competitively work otherwise.
Taking a look outside on this 10 minutes, guys. All right, thank you, Anthony. Public safety officers in North Augusta are asking for your help finding the suspect in a road rage shooting. They just released this photo of what they believe is the suspect's car. Take a good look. It's kind of nondescript, but it's the best we got. A 2006 to 2009 Ford Focus. This incident happened on East Martintown Road back on April 29th. Scary stuff. If you have any information, you're asked to call the public safety office at the number on your screen.
Happening now, a trial underway in Irwin County, Georgia, for the man accused of murdering a former teacher and beauty queen. Ryan Duke standing trial in connection to Tara Grinstead's death and disappearance back in 2005. The trial starting off this morning with opening statements, and the state spoke first.
Confessed to the murder of Tara Grinstead over and over again, with his words, with his actions, with his DNA, with his prints. He confessed.
The defense firing back, saying DNA testing is inconclusive and it's up to the state to find the burden of proof.
This case is about power and influence. The people who have it, the people who don't have it. Ryan Duke has neither.
The defense arguing that Duke did none of the things he's indicted for in connection to Grinstead's death.
A legal challenge to South Carolina's firing squad execution moving forward, and now we have a timeline on that decision. Attorneys for a death row inmate argue the choice between the electric chair or the firing squad is unconstitutional. Right now, the execution is on pause, but the trial has to be complete by August 3rd, with a decision expected before September 2nd. We are also learning the stay of execution in place for death row appeals will stay in effect until after a decision. We'll keep watching this for you. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office asking for your help finding this missing teenager. 14-year-old Zaire Griffin was last seen Saturday. Deputies say he left his home off Deansbridge Road near the Henry Brigham Community Center around 6 o'clock. Then he was last seen on North Carolina Avenue. If you've seen him, if you know where he might be, you're asked to call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at the number on your screen.
To the Murdaugh investigation now, and Paul Murdaugh's ex-girlfriend alleges his parents, Alec and Maggie, knew about his alcohol abuse before that fatal boat crash back in 2019. Police say Paul had been drinking the night he crashed that boat into a bridge, killing Mallory Beach. His ex-girlfriend giving a deposition in the case, saying Paul's parents helped him get alcohol before that crash, and he regularly used their credit card to buy alcohol with their consent. He was previously charged with her death, but those charges dropped when Paul was shot and killed.
Nurses, if you're looking for a job, local hospitals want to hire you. AU is hosting a job fair tomorrow. It's at the Goodwill Connection on Washington Road. It's from 2 to 4. They're hiring nurses and also other positions like dental assistants, HR, groundskeeping, and maintenance. Meanwhile, Piedmont Augusta is recruiting LPNs. They're hosting an event next Monday from 1 to 5 at the HVI lobby.
It is National Nurses Week, recognizing the crucial role of millions of nurses across our country.
And thank goodness for all of them. As Bradley Blackburn reports, it's especially meaningful for one young man who says his nurses helped him survive cancer and gave him a new mission for his future.
When Maxwell Jones was just 19 years old, he got a medical diagnosis he never expected: acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
The first time my doctor sat me down and said, "Look, I think you have leukemia," I just said, "I got this."
He started treatment at Advent Health's Pediatric Oncology Unit in Orlando, and Max's freshman year of college came to a halt. He had already been considering a career in nursing.
I've always just had this feeling inside that I want to care for people.
So Max decided to learn everything he could from the nurses caring for him, especially Nurse Delaney Postma.
He was always asking, "Hey, what are you doing? Can you teach me how to do this?"
Delaney, from the beginning, I always knew that something was really special about her.
Delaney and his other nurses cheered him on through a bone marrow transplant. Now 23, Max is cancer-free and studying nursing at the University of Central Florida.
Good morning.
Recently, he returned to his old pediatric oncology ward, this time for training as a student.
He was here one day.
With my experiences with my nurses and in the ward, I changed my mind and wanted to go into children's oncology.
He also got a surprise visit from Delaney. Delaney, how do you think Max is going to do as a nurse?
Oh, he's gonna do fantastic. I have no doubt in my mind.
There's always something that I can bring back that they taught me or talked about, and I think I'll carry that throughout my entire career.
Mentorships that have changed his life with the nurses who helped save it. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
You can already tell Max is going to become the very best nurse, don't you think?
Yeah, and I mean, he just has so much experience being on the other side of it. He knows what to say, he knows exactly what those patients are feeling, and that just means so much more coming from somebody who's literally been in their shoes.
We've all had nurses that meant a lot to our recovery. So yeah, we salute them today. They're amazing people, Anthony.
They definitely are, guys. And, we're going to be talking about some warmer temperatures as we go through the next couple of days. The middle of May could be starting to warm things back up after a cool afternoon. Above average temperatures are in the forecast. We'll talk about that coming up next.
And windy conditions fueling wildfires in the southwest. Flames forcing people out of their homes. We'll take you there ahead. First at 5.
Time and on your side.
Dry and windy conditions in the southwest are feeding massive wildfires in New Mexico and Arizona. The blazes have destroyed at least 300 homes, and currently they're threatening many, many more.
And despite few crews dumping all that water on the fire burning near Las Vegas, there's an extreme wind that's expected to ramp up in the next week, so that's not good news for them. Dan Shinneman shows us the scope of these blazes.
Fire sweeping across parts of New Mexico, covering hundreds of square miles. If the terrain, the fuels, being the trees, the grass, everything lines up right, we could expect to see spotting up to a mile and a half. Along with abundant fuel, winds are strong and gusty. It's the perfect recipe for wildfires. The terrain is also rugged and hard for firefighters to reach. One blaze alone, Hermit's Peak, has claimed nearly 190,000 acres. New Mexico fire officials have been battling flames for nearly a month. Finally, about half of it is contained. Wildfires are also burning in southern Arizona.
It's kind of scary, blowing right towards all of our properties up here.
Authorities in the San Rafael Valley spotted going door to door Sunday, warning residents to get out of harm's way as the flames get closer.
Every year we see it in California, but these are two more states out in the Southwest that are dealing with it now, and they've got more dry weather in their forecast.
I know, it seems actually kind of early for these to be burning out of control.
And what's crazy too is their fire season seems like every single year gets longer and longer. The more drought that persists, the drier conditions that they see, the longer that fire season gets extended for them. Fortunately for us, we don't have quite as long as a season there, but we're definitely could use some rainfall. We're still dry in many spots. We're not going to see that until Friday. And it's going to be a little bit breezy tomorrow and over the next couple of
Let's get that pollen out of here. I liked hearing that. At least my sinuses did. Thanks. Mother's Day takes on a new meaning for one Georgia couple. How their little family grew a bit bigger and a lot earlier than they were expecting. Just ahead.
The live.
A Georgia couple celebrated Mother's Day earlier than expected after having their baby almost 4 months early.
Madeline Montgomery takes us to Polk County to introduce us to this new family.
Engaged couple Kayla Weiss and Austin Hopkins weren't exactly planning on a baby when they found out they were pregnant back in December.
It was surprising.
Yeah.
It was very
We weren't
unexpected.
it. And they certainly weren't expecting to celebrate Mother's Day today as new parents.
It's just crazy to me because a couple, 4 weeks ago, I was saying, okay, I mean, technically would I be celebrating Mother's Day even though she wasn't born, and then now she's born, I'm a mother.
At the end of April, Kayla's doctors realized she needed to majorly move up her due date.
I went to the doctor and it was a regular visit and my blood pressure was 190/110, and they were like, you're on the verge of having a seizure, you need to go to the hospital.
Kayla had preeclampsia, a dangerous health complication caused by high blood pressure that can lead to serious or even fatal complications for mother and baby.
August 8th was her due date.
And I had her April 23rd.
Paisley Scott Hopkins was born weighing only 14 ounces and was only 9 inches long. She's still in the NICU up in Chattanooga and has slowly been growing, now weighing a little over a pound.
And a little box, where you get sticky hands into and just touch her.
Kayla and Austin are now anxiously awaiting the moment they can finally hold and kiss their baby girl.
I think it's going to be very emotional for me.
It's going to be emotional.
Just an amazing thing to see. And we have a neonatal intensive care unit here at the Children's Hospital. I mean, some of those babies are the size of the palm of your hand.
Yeah, they say a can of Campbell's soup or a can of vegetables, that's about the size of what, like a 1 pound baby.
And these babies are surviving, which is amazing.
It's incredible. The couple say they spent their first Mother's Day at the hospital with Paisley, and family came to celebrate with them. But the fact that they can't hold her, I know that's
gotta hurt.
killing them.
Yeah. Hope we do a follow-up in a year, see how this family's doing.
What was supposed to be a fun day at an amusement park turns into a trip to the ER after face painting gone wrong. A 6-year-old girl had her face painted at Carowinds in North Carolina. Her mom says the painter put glitter and face paint directly on her daughter's eyelashes and eyelids. After complaining of pain, the girl ended up at the ER the next day with what doctors say was double pink eye, corneal abrasions, and an allergic reaction to the paint.
I just want them to make sure that they're not doing this to other kids. They shouldn't be going to Carowinds and coming home with pink eye. It's supposed to be a fun, hey, we rode roller coasters, we got face paint. You don't come home with bacterial infections. That's not supposed to be what that's about.
Oh, that poor little girl. Carowinds says no pink eye cases have been reported by any associates. They say the company that provides face painting has a multi-layered sanitation process to ensure a clean and healthy experience for both associates and guests. That includes single-use disposable applicators.
I'm glad she's okay. Well, a teenager in the upstate of South Carolina expected to be okay after falling 40 feet down into a well. The Gaffney City Police Department says firefighters rescued a 14-year-old boy Saturday night. They say he was able to tread water down there and hang on to nearby pipes while firefighters worked to get him out of there. Crews actually lowering a different firefighter into the well and got him out within about a half hour of arriving on the scene. But don't you know that was a long 30 minutes for the teenager. They did take the teen to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say these situations are rare, but they still train for them just in case.
Treading water for 30 minutes in a dark well, yikes. A unique opportunity for some graduates from South Carolina State. The university cleared the account balances for 35 students who were not able to pay off their balances before the ceremony. That allowed them to walk the stage. The recipients signed a pledge requiring them to donate the amount they got back to the university over the next 3 years. The pledge allows future grads to benefit in that same way. What a great idea, Anthony.
Pretty cool stuff there for sure. And it may not only be Monday, but if you have the mid and upper 80s as we get closer to Sunday.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Still to come, an initiative for the Richmond County Sheriff's Office hopes to prevent crime before it happens. We'll show you how when News 12 First at 5 continues.
Investigate TV